I'm Megan Wilson, 36 years old, and watching my daughter Lily's eyes dim as she waited by our window in her princess party dress is something I'll never forget. Her 9th birthday party, meticulously planned for weeks, became the emptiest event of our lives. The decorated living room, untouched cake, and party favors sat waiting for guests who never arrived. My sister Amanda knew exactly what she was doing when she sabotaged the party. As minutes turned to hours, I realized this betrayal cut deeper than any family dispute before. Before I continue this heartbreaking story, let me know where you're watching from in the comments, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button to follow our journey toward healing and forgiveness. Life as a single mom hasn't been easy since my divorce 4 years ago. After Mark left for his dental hygienist, I poured everything into creating stability for Lily. We developed our little routine: Saturday morning pancakes, Sunday afternoon craft sessions, and weeknight reading before bed. Those quiet moments became our foundation when everything else seemed uncertain. Lily has always been my sensitive soul, artistic, kind, and thoughtful beyond her years. She notices everything, from a change in my tone to a butterfly landing on our porch. Her creativity shows in her detailed drawings that cover our refrigerator and the stories she writes in her journal with purple ink. Animals are her passion. She can recite facts about endangered species that would impress a zoologist, but for all her wonderful qualities, social connections haven't come easily. We moved to Lakeside Heights 18 months ago for my new marketing position. The suburban neighborhood seemed perfect: good schools, safe streets, and families with children Lily's age. But breaking into established social circles proved challenging. Lily's shyness didn't help matters. At school pickup, I'd watch her hang back while other children formed noisy groups. Her teacher, Mrs. Bennett, assured me that Lily was well-liked but simply needed time to find her place. Some children bloom at different paces, she told me during our last conference. Lily observes before she engages. That's not a flaw, it's just her approach. Amanda, my younger sister by 2 years, never understood Lily's quiet nature. You need to push her more, she'd say during her infrequent visits. Kids need to toughen up or they'll get eaten alive. Our relationship had always been complicated. Growing up, Amanda lived in my shadow. According to her perspective, I was the student body president while she struggled academically. I married first while she cycled through relationships. I had Lily while she faced fertility issues. The comparison game wasn't one I played. But Amanda kept score religiously. After my divorce, something shifted between us. Perhaps seeing me vulnerable gave her satisfaction. Her comments became sharper, her support more conditional. When I got the promotion that necessitated our move, her congratulations came with pointed reminders of how lucky I was despite my failed marriage. Last month, things deteriorated further when Amanda asked for a substantial loan to cover her fertility treatments. Her newest boyfriend, Trevor, had investment issues and couldn't contribute as promised. I genuinely wanted to help but couldn't jeopardize Lily's college fund, our financial safety net. After the divorce left me with lawyer fees and a mortgage, I barely qualified for a loan. Your daughter is already spoiled enough, Amanda snapped when I declined. Some of us are trying to have families while you take yours for granted. Her words stung, but I brushed them off as emotional reaction. We'd been through rough patches before. I never imagined she'd retaliate through Lily. The birthday party was meant to be Lily's big chance to solidify friendships. After months of playdates and careful outreach to other parents, she had finally connected with several classmates. Ember and Zoe from her reading group seemed particularly promising as friends. Sharing Lily's love of fantasy books, Jackson and Carter from her science table had invited her to their own parties earlier in the year. The neighborhood kids Riley, Emma, and the Peterson twins regularly played at the community park where Lily had gradually joined their games. When 12 families survived positively to our unicorn-themed celebration, Lily literally jumped with excitement. Together, we planned everything: rainbow decorations, a unicorn cake from Sweetie's Bakery, magical science experiments disguised as unicorn potions, and a treasure hunt with personalized clues for each child. I spent more than I should have, justifying every expense with the joy in Lily's eyes as she helped address invitations with careful handwriting. "Is it Saturday yet?" became her nightly question as the date approached. The evening before the party, our house transformed into a rainbow-infused unicorn paradise. Streamers cascaded from the ceiling, the handcrafted unicorn pinata stood ready with treats, and goodie bags waited with each child's name carefully written in Lily's best script. Lily was too excited to sleep, planning which games to play first and wondering if Amber would like the special friendship bracelet she'd made her. "Tomorrow will be amazing, Lillipad," I promised as I tucked her in, completely unaware of the heartbreak waiting for us both. Saturday morning arrived with perfect weather, sunshine streaming through windows onto decorations that glittered and swayed in the gentle breeze from open windows. Lily woke at 6, too excited to sleep further. She put on her special dress without prompting, a purple confection with sequins she'd selected months ago for this very occasion. "Do I look like a birthday girl?" she asked, twirling in front of me. "The most beautiful birthday girl ever," I answered truthfully, my heart swelling at her happiness. My parents arrived at 11 to help with final preparations. Dad Robert immediately took charge of setting up the backyard games while Mom Margaret fussed over the food presentation. Their energy added to the festive atmosphere, though Mom couldn't resist offering suggestions about the party timeline. "Crafts before cake, Megan, otherwise they'll be too sugared up to concentrate," she advised, rearranging the unicorn napkins I'd just positioned. Lily bounced between activities, checking the window every few minutes. "When will they get here?" she asked, her voice rising with anticipation. The party was scheduled for noon. By 12:15, no guests had arrived. I wasn't concerned yet. Families with children often ran late. But when 12:30 came and went without doorbell or phone calls, uneasiness crept in. "Traffic must be bad today," Dad offered, helping Lily arrange unicorn headbands on the entry table. By 12:45, Lily's constant window checks had slowed, her expression shifting from excitement to confusion. My phone remained silent, no messages about delays or last-minute issues. "Maybe we should call some of the parents," Mom suggested quietly while Lily was distracted by rearranging her present table. I nodded and stepped into the kitchen, pulling up Charlotte's number first. Charlotte was Ember's mom and the paid secretary, reliably punctual and organized. "Hello," Charlotte sounded surprised to hear from me. "Hi Charlotte, it's Megan, Lily's mom. I was just checking if everything's okay. We're waiting for Amber and the other kids." A puzzled pause followed. "But you canceled the party. We got your message last night saying Lily was sick with a stomach bug and you'd reschedule." My blood ran cold. "I never sent that message. You did from your email around 8 last night. I still have it." My hands trembled as I asked her to forward the message. Within moments, my phone pinged with an email clearly sent from my backup game account, one I rarely used except for password recovery. "Sorry for the late notice," it read. "Lily has come down with a stomach virus and we need to cancel tomorrow's party. We'll be in touch about rescheduling once she's better. Please don't call as she's finally sleeping and I don't want to wake her." Megan, I thanked Charlotte numbly and hung up. 2 more quick calls confirmed all parents had received identical messages. Looking into the living room where Lily sat with her grandparents, I watched her checking the time on the unicorn clock we decorated together. The realization was starting to dawn on her face. "Mommy, did everyone forget?" she asked when I returned, her voice small. I couldn't bring myself to explain the full situation yet. "There's been a misunderstanding, sweetheart. I'm working on it." For the next 30 minutes, I made increasingly desperate calls while my parents tried to distract Lily with games meant for a dozen children. Several more parents forwarded the cancellation message, all sent from my secondary email. Only family knew about that account: my parents, my ex-husband who had moved to California, and Amanda. The moment Lily truly understood no one was coming remains frozen in my memory. She stood beside the elaborate unicorn cake, the candle flames reflecting in her eyes. Her small shoulders, which had progressively slumped throughout the hour, suddenly straightened with forced bravery. "We can still have cake, right?" she asked, her voice wobbling despite her attempt at brightness. "Of course we can," Mom answered too cheerfully. "A smaller party just means more cake for us." Lily nodded, but when Dad started singing Happy Birthday, her composure crumbled. A single tear tracked down her cheek, followed by another. She tried so hard to smile as we finished the song that my heart shattered into pieces. "Make a wish, Lillipad," I encouraged. She closed her eyes, took a shuddering breath, and blew out her candles. Without speaking, she placed her unicorn headband carefully on the table and walked upstairs to her bedroom. The soft click of her door closing felt louder than a slam. "What in heaven's name happened?" Mom demanded once Lily was out of earshot. I showed them the forwarded message. Anger building as I contemplated who would do this. "Could it be a technical glitch?" Dad suggested weakly. "Someone sent these deliberately," I replied, already suspecting who that someone was. "Will you stay with Lily? I need to figure this out." Upstairs, I knelt beside Lily's bed where she lay curled around her stuffed dolphin, still wearing her party dress. "I'm so sorry, sweetheart," I whispered, stroking her hair. "Did I do something wrong?" she asked in a small voice. "Why doesn't anyone like me?" "This isn't your fault," I promised fiercely. "Your friends did want to come. Someone sent messages pretending to be me. They told everyone the party was canceled." Her eyes widened. "Who would do that?" The question hung between us, one I wasn't ready to answer. Instead, I held her while she cried, my own tears falling into her hair, promising myself I would find out exactly who had stolen this day from her, after Lily finally fell asleep from emotional exhaustion. Still dressed in her party clothes, I settled at the kitchen table with my laptop. My parents hovered nearby, cleaning up party supplies neither of us had the heart to leave displayed. "I don't understand who would do such a cruel thing," Mom said, carefully placing unit and rainbow cupcakes into containers. "And why?" The question burned in my mind as I logged into my secondary email account. The sent folder confirmed what I already suspected. Someone had accessed my account and sent identical messages to every parent on the party invitation list. The emails were time-stamped at 8:17 to 8:42 p.m. yesterday while Lily and I were picking up the cake from the bakery. "Someone who knew my password," I muttered, scrolling through account activity. The login had come from a device in the same city, not from some random hacker across the world. My phone buzzed with another message from Jessica, Riley's mom, with a screenshot of the cancellation message and a sympathetic note. "Just saw this was sent from a different email than your usual one. Technology mix-up? Let us know when you want to reschedule." I stared at my phone, mind racing through possibilities. The account password was fairly simple: Lily's birthday plus our street name, but only family would know both those details. My ex-husband Mark lived across the country and, despite our differences, would never hurt Lily this way. My parents had been supportively involved in party planning for weeks. That left Amanda. The argument about the loan replayed in my mind, her bitter tone when she accused me of spoiling Lily. Her resentment about my picture-perfect life, as she called it, ignoring the struggles and sacrifices of single parenthood. "I need to check something," I told my parents, pulling up Amanda's Instagram page. Her latest post appeared from 14 hours ago, a gym selfie with the caption "Saturday morning fitness goals, self-care me time" with our city's location tag. Not at work as she'd claimed when declining my invitation to help with the party. Not out of town visiting friends as she'd mentioned last week. Right here, deliberately absent, likely knowing exactly what she'd done. "I think it was Amanda," I said quietly, showing my parents the evidence. "She knew about the account, she's in town, and she had a motive." "Surely not," Mom protested weakly. "Sisters fight, but this crosses every line." Dad remained silent, his expression troubled. After 40 years as a judge, he recognized compelling evidence when he saw it. "She was angry about the loan," I explained. "She said some harsh things about Lily being spoiled." "That doesn't justify ruining a child's birthday," Dad finally responded. "If you're right about this, Megan, it shows a disturbing lack of boundaries." I continued gathering evidence, methodically building a case. 3 more parents forwarded the fake cancellation message. Each came from my backup email, each phrased identically. Amanda and I had set up that account years ago when planning Mom's surprise 60th birthday. She knew the password convention I used. Then came the smoking gun. Buried in my phone messages was a text from Amanda sent this morning: "Hope Lily feels better soon. Stomach bugs are the worst." She'd never been told about any illness because there wasn't one. She was covering her tracks, creating a paper trail to support the fake cancellation story. My hands shook with anger as I showed my parents the message. She knew exactly what she was doing. She wanted this to happen. The weight of this betrayal felt suffocating. Sibling rivalry was one thing, but targeting a 9-year-old child, my child? The magnitude of Amanda's cruelty seemed incomprehensible. "What are you going to do?" Mom asked, her voice small and sad. What could I do? Confronting Amanda seemed necessary but wouldn't restore Lily's birthday. The damage was done, her trust damaged, her special day ruined, her fragile social confidence shattered. Upstairs, my daughter slept with tear tracks still visible on her cheeks, while somewhere across town my sister went about her day knowing exactly what she'd orchestrated. I pulled up the photos we'd taken earlier, Lily proudly showing off decorations she'd helped create, her eyes bright with anticipation for friends who never arrived. The contrast between her morning excitement and afternoon heartbreak was physically painful to witness. "I need to talk to Amanda," I decided, face to face. "I need to hear her admit what she did and why." Dad nodded solemnly. "We'll stay with Lily. Don't let her think this was her fault," I instructed, gathering my keys and phone. "If she wakes up, tell her I'm working on fixing things, that her friends still care about her." As I drove toward Amanda's apartment, screenshots and evidence accumulated on my phone from more confused parents. The damage spread further with each passing hour, not just the party ruined, but Lily's reputation potentially damaged, as parents might wonder why we canceled at the last minute. The casual cruelty of it all fueled my determination to confront my sister. I rehearsed what I would say, how I would remain calm despite my rage. This wasn't just about Amanda and me anymore. This was about protecting my daughter from toxic family dynamics that could damage her developing sense of self-worth. No relationship, not even sisterhood, justified what had happened today. Amanda's apartment building loomed ahead, a trendy downtown complex with exposed brick and industrial aesthetics that consumed half her teacher's salary. I sat in my car for several minutes, gathering courage and composure. The evidence on my phone felt heavy, indisputable. Part of me still hoped for an alternative explanation, a misunderstanding, a technical glitch, anything other than deliberate cruelty from my only sibling. The security guard recognized me and waved me through without calling up. Another piece of evidence: had Amanda instructed him not to announce visitors today? My knock echoed sharply in the hallway. Footsteps approached, hesitated, then the door swung open. Amanda stood there in yoga pants and a tank top, hair pulled back in a messy bun. Her expression cycled rapidly from surprise to wariness. "Megan, what are you doing here? Isn't today Lily's party?" The casual deception in her tone ignited something fierce within me. I stepped forward, forcing her to back into her apartment. "You know exactly why I'm here," I said, my voice steady despite my racing heart. "You canceled Lily's birthday party by sending fake emails to every parent." Amanda's eyes widened briefly before narrowing. "That's ridiculous. Why would I do that? Didn't you text me that Lily was sick?" "I never texted you that. You created that story when you sent cancellation emails from my backup account." "Your account was hacked then," she replied too quickly. "That's terrible, but hardly my fault." I pulled out my phone and began scrolling through screenshots. Hacked from this exact city, by someone who knew my password convention, by someone who texted me about Lily's non-existent illness before I'd told anyone about these fake messages. Amanda crossed her arms defensively. Maybe one of Lily's little friends played a prank. Kids can be mean. 9-year-olds don't typically hack email accounts or execute perfect timing with cancellation messages, I countered. Besides, only family knew about that email address. It was from when we planned Mom's surprise birthday. Her composure faltered slightly. "You can't seriously be accusing me of ruining a child's birthday party. That's insane even for you." "For me, what does that mean?" "Perfect Megan with her perfect life always playing the victim," she snapped. "One party gets cancelled and suddenly it's a federal case." Her defensive anger confirmed everything. No denial of specific evidence, just deflection and attacks. Classic Amanda. "This wasn't one party getting cancelled," I said, my voice rising despite my efforts to stay calm. "This was my 9-year-old daughter sitting alone in her party dress watching the door for 3 hours while no one came. This was Lily asking me if nobody likes her, if she did something wrong. This was cruel and calculated and completely inexcusable." Something flashed across Amanda's face: regret, shame. It disappeared quickly behind renewed defiance. "You always exaggerate everything for maximum drama," she muttered, turning away to fiddle with items on her kitchen counter. "I'm sure she'll survive one disappointment, unlike some of us who deal with disappointment daily." "Show me your sent emails," I demanded. "Right now. Open your laptop and prove you didn't send those messages." "I don't have to prove anything to you. This is my apartment. You can't just barge in with wild accusations." "These aren't wild accusations," I said, stepping closer. "I have evidence, Amanda. The only question is whether you'll admit what you did or if you'll keep lying to my face." Our standoff lasted several seconds before something in Amanda seemed to crack. Her shoulders slumped slightly as she sank onto a bar stool. "Fine, yes, I sent the emails," she finally admitted, her voice flat. "You happy now?" The confirmation should have brought satisfaction but only intensified my anger and confusion. "Happy? Why would this make me happy? Why would you do this to Lily? She's a child, Amanda, your niece." "It wasn't about Lily," Amanda said, not meeting my eyes. "It was about you." "So you punished an innocent child to get back at me? For what? Not giving you money I don't have?" Amanda laughed bitterly. "Of course you'd reduce it to that. It's never been about the money, Megan. It's about how you have everything handed to you while I struggle for scraps." "Handed to me?" I repeated incredulously. "I work 60 hours a week. I raise Lily alone after Mark left us for his 20-something hygienist. What exactly has been handed to me?" "Everyone loves you," Amanda exploded, finally looking at me with years of resentment blazing in her eyes. "Mom and Dad are so proud of their accomplished daughter. Your co-workers admire you. Even your ex-husband's family still sends you Christmas cards. Do you know what it's like living in that shadow?" "So this justified hurting Lily?" Amanda had the grace to look momentarily ashamed. "I didn't think about how it would affect her. I just wanted you to feel what disappointment feels like for once." "Disappointment?" I echoed. "You think I don't know disappointment? My marriage failed. My daughter struggles to make friends. I can barely make ends meet most months, but the difference is I don't punish innocent people when life gets hard." A tense silence fell between us. Through the apartment window I could see people walking dogs, couples holding hands, normal Saturday activities continuing while my world had been upended. "Trevor left," Amanda said suddenly, 3 days ago, after the fertility clinic said the next round of IF would cost another $15,000 we don't have. He said he wasn't ready for this level of commitment. That's when I asked you for the loan. The information didn't excuse her actions, but contextualizing her pain softened my anger slightly. "I'm sorry about Trevor and the treatment, truly, but Amanda, this isn't how adults handle disappointment. The doctor told me last week this might be my last chance to have children," she continued as though I hadn't spoken. "I'm running out of viable eggs. Time is literally running out on my dream of being a mother while you get to be one every day." Her pain was real, her struggle genuine, but the manipulation attempt was transparent, trying to justify inexcusable behavior through personal suffering. "I understand you're hurting," I said carefully, "but what you did today was calculated cruelty toward a child who loves you. Lily asks about her Aunt Amanda all the time. She made you a special unicorn bracelet for when you came to her party, which you claimed you couldn't attend because of work." Tears welled in Amanda's eyes. "I didn't think it through. I was just so angry when you refused the loan. It felt like you were choosing Lily's college fund over my chance to have a child." "That wasn't the choice, and you know it," I replied. "I simply don't have the money without jeopardizing Lily's future." Amanda buried her face in her hands, shoulders shaking with sobs that seemed both genuine and performative. Years of experience with my sister's emotional patterns made me wary of full surrender to sympathy. "I'm sorry," she mumbled through her fingers. "I was horrible. I didn't think about how the other kids would feel about her after this." The comment stunned me. "You still don't get it. This isn't about social dynamics or how Lily appears to others. This is about deliberately hurting a child to punish her mother." Amanda looked up, mascara streaking down her cheeks. "What can I do to fix it? I'll explain to everyone what happened." "That would only humiliate Lily further," I said, gathering my purse. "The damage is done, Amanda. What matters now is what happens next." "What does that mean?" "It means I need distance from you, and Lily needs protection from this toxic dynamic. I can't trust you around her right now." "You're cutting me off from my niece." Amanda's voice rose with indignation. "That's completely unfair." The audacity was almost impressive. "What's unfair is making a 9-year-old cry on her birthday because you're jealous of her mother. What's unfair is betraying family trust for petty revenge. So that's it? One mistake and I'm banished?" I paused at the door, suddenly exhausted. This wasn't one mistake, Amanda. This was the culmination of years of competition and resentment. Get help, work through your issues. When you can take genuine responsibility without making yourself the victim, we can talk about rebuilding trust. Walking back to my car, I felt no triumph, no righteousness, only profound sadness. The sister who had once been my confidant and playmate had become someone capable of calculating hurt against her own niece. Whatever happened next would depend on choices Amanda made, genuine reflection or continued self-justification. My priority now was clear: helping Lily heal from today's disappointment while protecting her from further harm, even when that harm came from family. When I returned home, the house had been mostly cleaned of party decorations. My parents had packed away the unicorn tablecloths and streamers, leaving only the cake and presents on the dining room table. The emptiness felt appropriate, a visual representation of the day's events. "She's awake," Mom reported quietly, "watching a movie in the den with Dad. She's been very quiet." I found them curled together on the sofa, Lily still in her party dress though she'd removed the sequined headband. Her eyes were puffy from crying, fixed unseeing on the animated film playing. "Hey Lilliput," I said softly, sitting beside her. "How are you doing?" She shrugged without looking at me. "Did you find out what happened?" The question required careful navigation. How much truth could a 9-year-old handle about adult betrayal? "I did," I answered, choosing my words deliberately. "Someone sent messages pretending the party was cancelled. It wasn't your friend's fault they didn't come, they thought we had called it off." Lily turned to face me, her expression painfully hopeful. "So they didn't just not want to come to my party?" "Not at all," I assured her, pulling her close. "In fact, many of their parents have already messaged me saying how sorry they are about the mix-up and asking when we might reschedule." Dad excused himself, squeezing Lily's shoulder gently before leaving us to talk. "Who sent the messages?" Lily asked, always perceptive. "Was it a hacker?" I hesitated. It was someone who was feeling very hurt and made a very bad decision. Her eyes widened with realization. Was it Aunt Amanda? Children sense more than we give them credit for. Lily had obviously picked up on the tension between her aunt and me in recent weeks. Yes, I admitted, seeing no benefit in lying. Aunt Amanda is going through some difficult things right now. She made a choice that hurt us without thinking about the consequences. But why would she want to ruin my birthday? Lily's voice cracked, fresh tears threatening. She wasn't thinking about you, sweetheart. She was only thinking about her own feelings. Sometimes adults make terrible mistakes because they're caught up in their own problems. Is she sorry? Another complicated question. Amanda had expressed regret, but primarily for being caught rather than for the hurt caused. She says she is, I answered carefully, but being sorry means understanding what you did wrong and working to make sure you don't do it again. I think Aunt Amanda has some work to do there. Lily considered this with a maturity that made my heart ache. Will I still see her? Not for a while, I said gently. I need to make sure the people in your life treat you with kindness and respect. Right now, I don't think Aunt Amanda can do that consistently. Because she's mad at you? Because she's struggling with some big feelings that don't have anything to do with you or me really. She needs time to work through those feelings with professional help. Lily nodded slowly, like when Jake in my class had to see the guidance counselor after he kept getting in fights. Mrs. Bennett said he needed to learn better ways to handle his big feelings. Exactly like that, I confirmed, grateful for the apt comparison. Grown-ups sometimes need that help too. Our conversation was interrupted by my phone ringing. Charlotte again, Amber's mother. Megan, I've been talking with some of the other parents, she began without preamble. We all feel terrible about what happened. Amber is devastated that she missed Lily's party because of some email confusion. Would you be open to a makeup celebration next weekend? Several families have already committed. The offer was kind but required careful consideration. Let me talk with Lily and get back to you, I responded, not wanting to make decisions about her social life without consultation. After hanging up, I explained Charlotte's suggestion. To my surprise, Lily's response was hesitant. What if nobody comes again? She whispered. I understand that worry, I acknowledged, but this would be different. I'd communicate directly with parents, no emails involved. Still, her reluctance was palpable. The day's events had shaken her confidence, making her question relationships she'd been carefully cultivating. Later that evening, after Lily had finally changed out of her party dress and fallen asleep with exhaustion, I began the process of reaching out to parents. Most were understanding, expressing sympathy about the email hack explanation I'd provided to spare both Lily and Amanda public humiliation. Some conversations were awkward, particularly with parents I knew less well. Janet Peterson, mother of the twins, asked pointedly, "So someone deliberately targeted your daughter's birthday? That seems extreme." It appears that way, I acknowledged, unwilling to fabricate elaborate explanations. We're handling it privately. Well, these technology issues are precisely why I maintain a paper calendar, she replied loftily. The twins were quite disappointed. They'd made special unicorn drawings for Lily. While most parents were supportive, I sensed an undercurrent of curiosity and judgment. Small communities thrive on information, and the mysterious cancellation of a child's birthday party provided fertile ground for speculation. The most difficult moment came when Lily overheard me defending her to Marcus's father, who had suggested perhaps this was for the best since some children just don't mix well socially. Lily has been nothing but kind to every child in her class, I said firmly, unaware that Lily had entered the kitchen behind me. The situation had nothing to do with her social skills, and everything to do with adult interference. After hanging up, I turned to find Lily standing there, eyes wide with understanding beyond her years. Some people think I don't have friends because something's wrong with me, she stated flatly. Some people are wrong, I countered, pulling her into a fierce hug, and anyone who matters knows that. That night, after Lily was asleep and my parents had reluctantly departed with promises to return tomorrow, I finally allowed myself to break down. Sitting on my bathroom floor with the shower running to mask the sound, I sobbed until my throat felt raw. The betrayal. The complexity of family dynamics. The challenge of protecting Lily while helping her navigate emotional hurts, it all crashed over me in waves of grief and anger. The most painful realization was that distancing from Amanda meant fracturing our already strained family. My parents would be caught between daughters, forced into impossible positions of mediation. Holidays would become logistical nightmares of separate celebrations. The cousins Lily might have had would remain theoretical, relationships lost before they began. Yet I couldn't see an alternative that didn't sacrifice Lily's well-being on the altar of family peace. My responsibility was clear: protect my child first, even from those who should have loved her unconditionally. Sunday morning dawned gray and drizzly, matching our subdued mood. Lily slept late, emotionally drained from the previous day's events. I used the quiet hours to research potential approaches to salvage something positive from this situation. The idea of a replacement party felt simultaneously necessary and insufficient. Simply recreating the failed celebration risked reinforcing the trauma rather than healing it. Lily needed more than just a party; she needed restoration of her confidence and sense of belonging. I started a document titled Operation Redemption, listing potential venues, activities, and approaches. The financial constraints of single motherhood limited some options, but creativity could compensate for budget restrictions. First item on the list: consult professionals. I emailed Lily's school counselor, Ms. Ramirez, explaining the situation in general terms and requesting guidance on helping a child recover from social disappointment. Then I researched child psychologists in our insurance network, bookmarking several who specialized in children's social development. Next came venue exploration. The community center offered reduced rates for residents and had availability for the following weekend. The Children's Museum downtown had a birthday package that included science activities aligned with Lily's interests. Even the local animal shelter had a program where children could celebrate by helping care for animals, perfectly suited to my animal-loving daughter. The financial reality quickly became apparent. Any of these options would stretch my budget to breaking point after the expenses already incurred for the original party. I sat with my coffee, calculating and recalculating numbers that refused to cooperate with my desires. A text message interrupted my planning, checking on Lily. "How is she today, Charlotte?" The simple gesture of concern provided unexpected inspiration. Perhaps the solution wasn't a lavish makeup event, but something more meaningful and sustainable. Charlotte had mentioned other parents wanted to make amends for the misunderstanding. What if we leveraged that goodwill into something more significant than a single afternoon? By the time Lily wandered downstairs in her favorite space-themed pajamas, I had the outline of a plan, not just a replacement party but a series of smaller, more intimate connections that could foster deeper friendships. "Morning, sweetheart," I greeted her. "Pancakes?" She nodded, climbing onto a kitchen stool. "Can they have chocolate chips?" "Absolutely. Special circumstances call for chocolate chip pancakes." As we ate, I gently introduced the topic. "I've been thinking about what happened yesterday. A lot of your classmates' parents have reached out asking how they can make it up to you." Lily poked at her pancakes. "They probably just feel sorry for me." "They care about you," I corrected gently. "That's different from pity. Amber's mom specifically mentioned how disappointed Amber was to miss your party." "Really?" A flicker of interest crossed her face. "Really, and I've been thinking, instead of trying to redo the whole big party, what if we did something different? Maybe smaller get-togethers with just a few kids at a time, doing things you really enjoy." Lily considered this, her analytical mind visibly processing the suggestion. "Like what?" "Well, you and Amber both love the fantasy book series you're reading. What if she came over for a special afternoon just about that? We could create activities around the books, maybe make story-related crafts." The idea clearly appealed to her. "Could we dress up as characters?" "Absolutely," I confirmed, "and maybe Jackson and Carter would enjoy a science day at the museum with their exhibit on space exploration." Lily's expression brightened further. "The one with the meteorite you can touch?" "That's the one. And what about inviting the neighborhood kids to help at the animal shelter? You've been talking about volunteering there." By the time we finished breakfast, Lily had moved from reluctance to tentative excitement about this alternative approach. The conversation shifted from dwelling on yesterday's hurt to planning meaningful connections. "I'm going to talk to your teacher tomorrow too," I added as we cleared the table. "I want to make sure she understands what happened so she can help if any questions come up at school." Lily's expression clouded. "Will everyone know Aunt Amanda canceled my party?" "No, sweetie, we're keeping the details private. The other kids will just know there was a miscommunication about the party date." The meeting with Mrs. Bennett the following afternoon proved invaluable. The experienced teacher offered practical suggestions for supporting Lily in the classroom and insights into the social dynamics at play. "Children are remarkably resilient," she assured me, "especially when they have a supportive home environment. Lily has that in abundance." She also offered unexpected information about classroom friendships I hadn't been fully aware of. "Zoe and Amber are natural social leaders in our class. Their friendship with Lily has already been noticed by other students. The reading group those three formed has become quite the coveted membership. Really, Lily hasn't mentioned that. Mrs. Bennet smiled. She might not have recognized it yet, but I've noticed several other girls asking to join their discussions. Lily's thoughtful observations about the books have impressed her peers, even if she doesn't realize it. This information shaped my evolving redemption plan. Strengthening Lily's connection with these key friendship anchors could have ripple effects throughout her social circle. One more thing, Mrs. Bennet added as our meeting concluded. Our class is starting a community service project next week. Each student will partner with another to develop an idea. It might be beneficial to encourage Lily to take an active role in choosing her partner rather than waiting to be chosen. The suggestion aligned perfectly with my goal of helping Lily develop agency in her social relationships, rather than remaining passive. That evening I presented Lily with the refined plan, emphasizing her role in shaping each small gathering. These aren't pity parties, I explained. They are opportunities to deepen friendships around things you genuinely enjoy sharing with others. Lily's initial reluctance had transformed into cautious enthusiasm. Can the first one be with Amber and Zoe for the book club? Absolutely. I'll contact their mothers tomorrow. The conversation with Charlotte and Nina, Zoe's mother, went better than expected. Both women expressed genuine distress over the party confusion and eagerness to help mend the situation. They readily agreed to the book club gathering scheduled for the upcoming Saturday. Zoe hasn't stopped talking about the friendship bracelet Lily gave her last month, Nina shared. She wears it every day. This casual revelation stunned me. Lily had never mentioned giving Zoe a bracelet, much less that Zoe valued it so highly. How many other positive social connections had my daughter experienced but not shared, perhaps overshadowed by her general social anxiety? As plans took shape over the next few days, I observed a gradual shift in Lily's demeanor. The shadow of disappointment remained, but alongside it grew anticipation for the reimagined celebrations. Each time a parent reached out with genuine concern or a classmate sent a handmade card orchestrated by the wonderful Mrs. Bennet, I suspected Lily's confidence visibly strengthened. When I showed her the supportive messages from community members, including a sweet note from the librarian who ran her beloved book club offering to host a special session, Lily's eyes widened with surprise. All these people care about me? Of course they do, sweetheart. You touch more lives than you realize. The transformation wasn't instantaneous or complete. Lily still had moments of doubt and sadness, but gradually, the focus shifted from what had been lost to what could be gained through this new approach to building connections. A week after the empty party, Lily approached me with a decorated notebook labeled Friendship Journal. Mrs. Bennet helped me start this, she explained. It's for writing down good things that happen with friends, so I remember them even on bad days. The first entry described Amber's excitement about the upcoming book club meeting and included a small drawing of three girls holding books. The simple image spoke volumes about Lily's healing process and growing resilience. The redemption plan wasn't about erasing what happened, but about transforming it into something meaningful, teaching Lily that disappointments, even painful ones, could lead to deeper connections when approached with honesty and courage. 2 weeks after the birthday disaster, our living room buzzed with excited chatter as Amber, Zoe, and Lily huddled over their fantasy novels, decorated with modest book-themed elements rather than elaborate party decorations. The space felt cozy and purposeful. Character-inspired snacks and activities had replaced the standard party fare, creating an experience tailored specifically to this small group's shared interests. This is way better than a regular party, Zoe declared, adjusting the elf ears she'd crafted from the art supplies I'd provided. We get to actually talk about the books instead of just playing games. Amber nodded enthusiastically, her normally reserved demeanor transformed by passion for the subject. My mom says we can make this a monthly thing, rotating houses. Can we do that, Ms. Wilson? I think that's a wonderful idea, I replied, watching Lily's face light up at the suggestion of ongoing gatherings. This was only the first of several small celebrations we'd planned. Tomorrow would bring the museum outing with Jackson and Carter, followed next week by the animal shelter visit with the neighborhood children. Rather than attempting to recreate the failed party, we'd reimagine celebration as a series of meaningful connections. The community center had generously offered their space for a final gathering, bringing all these smaller groups together not as a birthday party, but as a friendship celebration with activities designed to strengthen budding relationships. Several parents had volunteered to help with food and supervision, turning what had begun as an apology into a community-building opportunity. Mrs. Bennet made a surprise appearance during the book club meeting, bearing a special edition of the fantasy series' newest release as a belated birthday gift. The thoughtfulness of this gesture brought tears to my eyes, while Lily beamed with excitement. "The class made something for you too," she told Lily, presenting a handbound book containing stories and drawings from her classmates. Everyone contributed a page about friendship. Watching Lily page through this treasure with her friends, I marveled at the unexpected gifts that had emerged from such painful circumstances. The connections forming around my daughter now seemed deeper and more authentic than those that might have developed at a traditional party. Later that evening, after her friends had gone home, Lily curled beside me on the sofa, still clutching the class book. "Mom, I've been thinking about Aunt Amanda," she said suddenly. My heart squeezed. Although Amanda had sent a formal apology letter addressed to Lily, I'd exercised my parental discretion in not sharing it yet, uncertain of its sincerity and appropriateness. "What about her?" I asked carefully. "Is she still sad about not being able to have a baby?" The question caught me off guard. Despite everything, Lily's empathy remained intact, perhaps even strengthened by her own experience with disappointment. "I believe she is," I answered honestly. "That's a very difficult thing for her." Lily nodded thoughtfully. "Being sad doesn't make it okay to be mean to people, but I understand being sad." "That's very wise, Lilipad." "I don't want to see her right now," Lily continued, "but maybe someday when she feels better." The mature perspective humbled me. While I'd been focused on protection, Lily had independently reached a place of boundary setting coupled with compassion, a lesson many adults never master. "We can think about that in the future," I agreed. "For now, I'm proud of how you're handling everything." The doorbell interrupted our conversation. Opening it revealed Ms. Ramirez, the school counselor who had volunteered to drop off additional materials for our upcoming museum visit. "I hope I'm not interrupting," she apologized. "I was in the neighborhood and thought I'd save you a trip to school tomorrow." "Not at all," I welcomed her in. "Lily was just showing me the beautiful book her class made." Ms. Ramirez smiled warmly at Lily. It was entirely the students' idea. They were quite insistent about making something special. This revelation added another layer of meaning to the gift, not teacher-directed kindness, but genuine care from peers. After Ms. Ramirez departed, Lily helped me prepare dinner, chatting about ideas for the upcoming gatherings with growing enthusiasm. The transformation from 2 weeks ago was remarkable, not complete healing, but significant steps forward. The community celebration that Saturday exceeded all expectations. The modest community center space had been transformed by parent volunteers into a warm, welcoming environment centered around friendship-building activities, rather than focusing on Lily as the birthday child. The event celebrated connections between all the children. Lily's teacher attended, as did her favorite librarian. Even the shelter coordinator came briefly, bringing photos of animals the children would help care for during their upcoming visit. The gathering had evolved from a makeup party into something far more meaningful, a community affirmation of belonging. "Your daughter has quite the support system," remarked Charlotte as we watched the children engaged in a cooperative art project. "Sometimes difficult circumstances reveal who truly matters in our lives." Her words crystallized what these weeks had taught us. The empty party had indeed been heartbreaking, but the response to that disappointment had created opportunities for deeper connections than might otherwise have developed. Amanda had reached out twice more since our confrontation, once with a formal request to attend the community gathering, which I gently declined, and again with news she'd begun therapy, while reconciliation remained a distant possibility rather than an immediate goal. These small steps suggested potential for growth. My parents had struggled with divided loyalties initially, but ultimately supported my boundary setting. They maintained separate relationships with both daughters, while respecting my decision to keep Amanda at a distance from Lily for now. The family system was adapting, finding new equilibrium around clearly established priorities. As the celebration wound down, I watched Lily laughing with her growing circle of friends. The hurt child who had cried in her party dress 3 weeks ago was still there, but alongside her had emerged a more resilient version, one who understood that disappointment, while painful, could be survived and even transformed. That evening, Lily added a new entry to her friendship journal, filling 2 pages with detailed observations about the day's connections. "I think this was better than a regular birthday party," she concluded, echoing Zoe's earlier assessment. "I got to really know people instead of just opening presents." "I'm glad something good came from a difficult experience," I told her, smoothing her hair as she wrote. "That's an important life skill, finding the growth opportunity in disappointment." Lily considered this thoughtfully. Like how plants need rain and sunshine, The rain might seem sad, but it helps things grow. Exactly like that, I confirmed, once again humbled by her wisdom. As Lily fell asleep that night, I reflected on the journey of these past weeks. The betrayal by my sister had revealed painful truths about our relationship, but it also illuminated the strength of other connections in our lives. The community that rallied around Lily demonstrated that family extends beyond blood relations to encompass those who show up consistently with kindness and respect. The most valuable lesson emerged not from my careful planning but from Lily herself, the understanding that boundaries protect while compassion heals. Her willingness to acknowledge Amanda's pain while maintaining healthy distance showed emotional intelligence beyond her years. Perhaps someday Amanda would demonstrate the growth needed for reconciliation. Until then, our focus remained on nurturing the relationships that supported rather than damaged Lily's developing sense of self. The failed birthday party that had seemed so catastrophic 3 weeks ago had ultimately catalyzed something precious, a deeper understanding of what true connection means and how resilience develops not through avoiding disappointment but through transforming it into opportunity for growth. Looking through the photos from today's celebration, Lily, surrounded by friends who had chosen to be there, engaged in meaningful activities rather than obligatory party games, I realized we had received an unexpected gift, not the party we had planned, but the community we needed. What experience has taught you about setting boundaries with family while maintaining compassion? Have you ever had a disappointment transform into something unexpectedly valuable? I'd love to hear your stories in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe if this resonated with you, and share with anyone who might be navigating similar family challenges. Thank you for joining us on this journey toward healing and growth. Remember, sometimes the best celebrations aren't the ones we plan, but the connections we nurture through difficult times.